welcome to Rajshri Food. In this episode, I'm doing a very nice chaat recipe called the Bhel Puri. This is a very famous evening snack loved all over India. All these ingredients for bhel are generally available in all the Indian stores. Just in case you don't find the puri, you can use cracker biscuits, or you can also just fry some tortillas and just break them into your bhel. First, I'm going to heat up some puffed rice in a pan. No oil, nothing, just plain puffed rice or kurmura, and just keep stirring it for 2 minutes so they become nice and crunchy. The puffed rice has also changed in color a little bit, and now I'm going to remove this from this hot pan. Let the puffed rice or kurmura cool down completely and then store it in an airtight container, and you can store it for at least 15-20 days. This recipe is all about getting all the ingredients from your pantry and mixing everything together. So let's do that. So my puffed rice or my kurmura goes in. I'm going to put in all my dry ingredients first. Save, puri. I'm just going to break it into small pieces. Some chopped onions, some chopped potatoes, coriander leaves, red chili powder to taste, salt, just a little bit because the chutneys also have some salt, lime juice. I've used two kinds of chutneys, the coriander mint chutney and the date and tamarind chutney. They're a little thick, so I'm just going to add a little bit of water and dilute them because it needs to coat the puffed rice properly. And just a little bit of salt since I've added some water. And now I'm just going to mix this well. If you like the flavor of garlic in your bhel, you can always add 1 clove of garlic in this chutney while grinding it. So it has to be this consistency. Let's add the date and tamarind chutney and the coriander mint chutney. Let's mix everything well. Don't add too much chutney from the beginning. Just add as much as you need that it coats all the puffed rice or the kurmura well. I'm going to need a little more. The taste of bhel and all the flavorings that you add in is a very personal choice. So it's up to you whether you like it sweet, you like it spicy, so you can alter it to your taste. So let's plate it, but you have to serve this immediately because otherwise it's going to go soggy very quickly. I'm going to garnish it with a little more of this save. Crush a couple of puris, some chopped tomatoes, a little bit of coriander leaves, and I have some raw mango. It's optional. If you have it, you can add some. Gives you a nice tangy taste. And again, a nice squeeze of some lemon juice. There are no rules to this recipe. You can always add anything that's handy, like if you have pomegranate, you have cucumber, anything that you have, you can just throw it in and mix it and enjoy it.
Hi guys, welcome to Rajshri Food. This is the Bombay chef Varun Inamdar, and I get a very quintessential Bombaya chaat for you. Well, it's Ragada Patties, so let's begin. I'm dividing this recipe into 4 components. Let's begin with the first one, which is making the Ragada, for which I've taken some white peas. These are dried white peas which I've soaked in water for somewhere around 8 to 9 hours. Well, this now goes in the pressure cooker. I'm adding in some turmeric, some salt. I'm adding some water, and I'm allowing this to cook under pressure 3 to 4 whistles. Well, in the interim, let's start making the component 2, which is the patties, for which I'm taking some boiled potatoes. Now these potatoes have been boiled with a little bit of turmeric and salt. I'm going to mash these now. The potatoes are mashed and ready. Let's now start making lemon-sized balls. Just pat these lightly and these can rest here. Similarly now, I'm going to make all the potato patties. Well, while making these, it's been 3 to 4 whistles here. Off goes the flame and the ragda is ready. The potato patties are ready. Let's start pan frying these. I'm taking a little bit of oil and heat this on moderate flame. Well, the potato patties are done and ready. Of course, the flame. And this now goes on absorbent tissue paper. Let's move to component number 3, which is the sweet chutney, for which I've taken some tamarind pulp. To this, I'm going to add in seedless date pulp. I'm adding the powder spices, starting with red chili powder, chaat masala, dry ginger powder, some black salt, and roasted cumin powder. Give it a nice mix. The sweet chutney is done and ready. Let's now move to the 4th component, which is making the coriander chutney, for which taking some fresh coriander, some green chilies, pieces of raw mango, little bit of salt, whole cumin seeds, and some water to help grinding. Well, the chutney is done and ready. The pressure cooker has now cooled down. Let's check on the ragda. The ragda is now done and ready. Well, all our components are done and ready. So let's begin the assembly. For that, I'm first taking the potato patties. Right on top of this goes this mashed ragda. Right on top of this goes the coriander chutney. Along with this, the tamarind and date chutney, chaat masala, roasted cumin powder, a little bit of salt, and red chili powder. I'm topping this up with a little bit of onion and tomatoes, a little bit of save, a sprig of coriander, and finally, wedge of lemon. So here is your absolutely delicious Bombaya style chaat, Ragada Patties ready. Well, if you make this at home, do click a picture and do tag us on social media. Well, this is the Bombay chef and wait for what next I get into your kitchen. Well, the world is divided between tea drinkers and coffee drinkers. Tea and coffee are both generic drinks, but trust me, cutting chai and filter coffee are absolutely emotional. Well, today, let's keep this mug of coffee aside and let's make South Indian filter coffee. Hey guys, welcome to Rajshri Food, and this is your ultimate destination for 100% vegetarian recipes. Well, filter coffee is absolutely different from any of those instant coffees that you get across the globe. And when I say it's emotional, I absolutely mean it. Well, every house has their own mix of coffee. Well, this one is coffee grits or coffee granules, which are absolutely nice and gritty. Well, this one is of course roasted coffee beans, but this also has 20% of chicory. This is the coffee mix that actually defines the taste and flavor of the coffee that you like in your home. Well, this is also a mix of 80% coffee seeds and 20% chicory. Well, that's a mix that I like. You can take a ratio of 70-30, you can go up to 60-40, you can also go up to 50-50 depending on how creamy, how intense, and how coffee-like prominent you like as a flavor. Well, the first thing is to keep water to boil because this is required to make the decoction. Well, the decoction can be made in 2 to 3 ways, but primarily what every South Indian home has is a coffee press. Well, this one is a South Indian coffee press, and this has 4 parts. The first one is of course the decoction collector. The second one is where you actually put the coffee beans or the coffee crush. You press it with this, and finally you cover it with this. We'll of course break the process down. We'll go absolutely nice and slow and easy so that you all kind of learn it with ease. And the next one is your age-old strainer, but because I like it nice and smooth, I'm also kind of layering it with a muslin cloth. As simple as that, right? While the water is getting boiled, let's quickly start building the apparatus. And this is to make something called a decoction. Well, decoction is actually the concentrate of coffee which actually starts defining the taste and the flavor. First things first, I'm going to take a mix of coffee and chicory and add it to the press. 3 to 3.5 heaped tablespoons of this, and this needs to be lightly pressed. Well, the whole idea here is that you do not need to press it because you do not need it to convert into a brick. And the second one is it shouldn't be so porous that the water just zooms in. 1 or 2 light presses, one, another one, and with this, if you see, it's kind of padded, and that's exactly what we're looking at. Let's start building the apparatus. The first thing that goes at the bottom is the decoction collector. On top of this, I'm placing the sieve that has the coffee and the chicory mix. I'm placing the press like so, removing it, and the next thing that goes in is hot water. That's about it. The last step is to cover this so that the coffee that is now converting into steam starts bouncing back into the apparatus. We need to pick this from the base because this is the colder part of the apparatus. We need to keep this aside, and let me show you a very quick alternate method. And this is for the ones who do not have the South Indian press. All you need to do is take a sieve. We need to line it with muslin cloth, and we need to place 2 heaped tablespoonfuls of this coffee and chicory mix. We need to again press this lightly with the back of the spoon so that this kind of becomes a little compact, not very loose, not very porous. And on top of this, we need to keep adding hot water in 2 to 3 batches because this one has a little smaller cup and this will hold lesser water. Well, here if you notice what's happening, the water has just begun percolating to the bottom bowl, and that's where you get the most beautiful intense decoction. It slowly also starts dripping as time passes, and if you kind of put your head to it, that's exactly what is happening in the filter coffee apparatus as well. So now let's wait and watch for 20 minutes. It's been 20 minutes and our decoction should be done and ready. Let's have a quick check. Well, if you see, that's how it is nice, intense, and a little thick, and that's exactly how we're looking at. The next step, of course, is to begin with making the coffee. Now, this is a step, rather, the decoction making is a step that could be done in advance. From what I know, what my friends do is, their mothers make this through the night. So, just before you're about to sleep, start making the decoction, let it percolate through the night, and then when you're ready to drink it in the morning, all you need to start is from this step, and that is heating the milk. To this, I'm adding in full fat milk. Let's turn the flame on, and into this we need to add in sugar as per your own personal preference. Well, I like my coffee bitter and intense, so I'm adding in just like half a teaspoon of sugar, and that's my preference. You can take your own call. Allow this to heat on roll boil, and then we move forward. When I visit South Indian establishments, my orders generally begin with rasam vada, and finally they have to end with South Indian filter coffee, which is also known as kapi. Once the milk is well boiled, there begins the process of making filter coffee, and that happens in a very special apparatus called a dabra, which is a combination of a cup and a glass. Well, the next step is to take the decoction, as much or as little as you like and prefer. We're just retaining a little so that it can be topped right on top. Let's keep this aside, and to this let's add in hot milk, which also has sugar. Well, in today's modern times, when you can visit any coffee shop and have an international coffee, in my personal humble opinion, a traditional ethnic filter coffee would always taste better. Well, if you're personally someone who likes coffee, it's not me to be thanked. We need to all thank Baba Budan, who got 7 beans of coffee to India from Yemen in the 16th century. Well, there are various ways of making cappuccino or coffee with froth in your home kitchen. This is also actually one of those tricks that I learned from a friend while staying in a college hostel. Here is a home trick of how to make it in your own home kitchens. Hey guys, it's Varun Inamdar and welcome to Rajshri Food. For this, what we need to do is take instant coffee in a mug, and this would be as strong or light as you please. Since I'm forming a base mixture and making multiple coffee cups later, I'm taking somewhere around 2 to 3 tablespoons of instant coffee. To this, we need to add in again the same quantity of sugar, and this one is grain sugar. Add in a tablespoon of cold water, and with the help of a spoon, you need to cream this till this mixture is nice, smooth and almost frothed. And this step is rather going to take somewhere around 8 to 10 minutes, and you need to keep beating vigorously. Well, this is possibly one of the only reasons I feel this is known as hand-beaten coffee, also colloquially. The whole idea is to keep beating this mixture like so in the cup till it becomes nice and frothy. Well, it's roughly around 8 to 10 minutes, and you see the coffee has become nice and frothed. And if you observe a little closely, it has just kind of started developing soft peaks. This is the stage where we need to stop and start heating milk on medium flame, roughly till the temperature of your preference. While boiling the milk, it's important to skim all of the cream that rises on top. Stir it well. And now let's begin serving the hand-beaten coffee. In the serving mug, we need to add in a dollop of coffee and sugar, which is hand-beaten. Well, you can increase or decrease this as per the strength of coffee and sugar that you prefer. We need to top this up with milk as per your choice. Fill the cup till it's 3/4 full and stir it one last time. We need to top this up with a little more of the hand-beaten coffee. Just a sprinkling of instant coffee.
You don't need a specific reason or time to drink chai. Everyone has their own special way of making it. Tandoori Chai is a new trending type of tea. So let's see how to make it at home. Let's start with boiling 1 cup of water. Into this, next I'm going to add the tea leaves. 2.5 tablespoons of tea leaves, 1.5 tablespoon of sugar. Since this is a tandoori chai, so we're going to spice it up a little bit. Into this, let's add a few pieces of chopped ginger, 1-inch piece of cinnamon stick, 1/4 teaspoon of cardamom powder, and I'm also going to flavor it with some saffron, but this is absolutely optional. So just a few strands of saffron. Give this a mix. And now let's add in the milk as well. 1.5 cups of milk. And boil this nicely. The tea is nicely boiled. Let's turn off the flame. Let's strain the tea now. And now on the flame, I'm going to heat up a clay pot. Heat the clay pot on low heat. Make sure it becomes nice and red hot. Also keep rotating it in the middle. Since I have one burner, I have transferred the tea in the thermos and I'm doing this step afterwards. But obviously when you're making it in your kitchen, you can simultaneously do this. Let's rotate this. Make sure you heat it up from inside as well. The pot is nice and hot. It's even changed color. Let's get it off the flame. Let's place it in an open pan. And now, let's pour the hot tea over it. And this tandoori chai has bubbled like a volcano and it's ready to serve. Now you know the simple secret of making tandoori chai at home. All you need is a clay pot. So do try this at home, comment below, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Have you wondered that this being the Bombay Chef show, I've still not done that one dish which is quintessentially the lifeline of the city? You guessed it right, it's the Vada Pav. Let's get cracking. Let me first begin with the hero of this dish, which is the real batata vada. For this, I'm dividing that into three components: the potato mix, the batter, and the frying process. So let's first begin with the spice blend. For this, I need some cloves of garlic, which I'm going to roughly cut. You could also take the cloves with the skin. I prefer it skinless. Next, some chilies, some ginger. Wash it nicely because this ginger is going to be used with its skin on. Let's move on to grinding this. For this, I need a coarse and not a fine paste. So once or twice blitzing is more than enough. Let's give a quick check. Perfect. That's exactly how you want it. Let's now begin with making the potato mix. For this, I need the pan on moderate flame, and in this goes some vegetable oil. Once the oil heats up, in go the mustard seeds. Once these crackle, I'll add in the asafoetida or hing, immediately followed by curry leaves. Next, I'll add in the crushed spice mix and allow this to cook till the raw smell of the ginger and garlic goes away. This could take anywhere between 30 seconds to a minute. This is almost ready. This is next followed up with some turmeric powder. A quick mix. Off goes the flame, and let's start prepping the coriander. I'm going to finely cut the coriander. This is followed by boiled and peeled potatoes, which I'm going to hand crush, like so. For some extra flavor and tang, I'll be adding in some lemon juice, and this is entirely optional. And mix this nicely and evenly. For some flavor, I'll be adding in some salt. The potato mixture is ready. It's nicely mixed and is also at room temperature. Make sure your mixture comes down to room temperature. Once that happens, let's make lemon-sized balls. These should be nice and compact, like so. The size of these vadas can differ as per the purpose. You can make nice tiny cocktail-sized vadas for your parties, or make them like so when you wish to have these like snacks. Let's now move on to the second component, which is making the batter. For this, I'm taking some gram flour or besan. This is nicely sieved and kept. I'll add in some salt for seasoning. And with this, some water to make a batter of thick consistency. Mix this well and make sure this batter is lump-free. For this, you could use a whisk or you can use your fingers. I've deliberately avoided baking soda or baking powder in this because that makes the vada extremely heavy and you may end up feeling bloated. Let's now move on to the third component, which is the frying. To fry these vadas, you need to dip these potato mix balls in the batter and fry these on moderate flame. Once these turn nice and golden brown, transfer these on an absorbent kitchen paper to drain all the excess oil. To make this even more Bombaya, it is served along with a spicy red chutney. And to make that, we're going to make use of this batter. For that, we're going to make fritters. Well, these could also be collected while frying the vadas, but that quantity would be reasonably very less. Drain these on an absorbent tissue paper. The fritters are fried and ready. Allow these to cool down completely. And now, let's begin with the grinding. For this, I'm taking some red chili powder, some cloves of garlic, some salt as required, and the cooled down fritters. And now I'm going to grind this into a coarse powder. Just a few blitz. Wow, incredibly amazing and absolute street style. Let's now begin with the plating. Your typical Mumbai style Vada Pav is ready. You could also try this with a sweet tamarind chutney or a green chutney. Enjoy.
Bright yellow corns, when added to any recipe, work to enhance taste, color and overall richness. That's why I'm always game for them. And today I will show you how to fry corn-infused batter into crispy, delicious pakoras. I'm going to start with mixing all the ingredients for the batter. I have some boiled and half-churned corn over here, finely chopped onions, finely chopped fenugreek leaves, fresh grated coconut. It's optional, so if you have some handy, you can always add some. Some coriander, cumin seed powder, pinch of turmeric powder, red chili powder, some chaat masala, some amchur or raw mango powder, finely chopped green chilies, some soft or fennel seeds, gram flour, rice flour and salt to taste. Mix all these ingredients properly. The corn mixture is ready and I've also kept some oil to heat, and I'm going to spoon 2 tablespoons of oil and add it into this mixture. Hot oil. Mix it with a spoon. I'm just going to make rough round balls of it. Time to drop the pakoras in oil now. Drop them in the hot oil. Reduce the flame and let them fry slowly so they cook from inside as well. Let's get the ones out which have got color. Another monsoon dish to add to your recipe book, but if it's not raining in your part of the world, just enjoy them over a cup of coffee. So do try them, comment below. See you next time. Bye-bye.